So if you've been spending a bunch of money on your patterns for your crochet, you really don't have to be doing that. Don't get me wrong, I admire pattern designers and I'm going to be making my own patterns myself pretty soon, but I don't think it's necessary, especially if you're first starting out, to purchase a bunch of patterns when you already need to buy all of your yarn and your crochet supplies. So I want to show you where I find a bunch of free crochet patterns instead of just watching a ton of roundup videos on YouTube. So for starters, I would like to look at your roll of yarn. Yes, your roll of yarn. I know, crazy, right? Most obvious place ever. If you open up the paper on your yarn, on the inside, there's a pattern, usually a pattern, okay? And sometimes it will be just a link to the website for the yarn company itself, but there is a pattern on the inside of this one, and it is a little crochet pullover for a baby. But when you go to their yarn website itself, there are actually more. So let's get into the websites. There are Love Crafts. They have a massive collection of free crochet patterns. You can filter by yarn weight, project type, the language, and even by the techniques used for the pattern, like seamless or worked in the round, which makes it really easy to narrow things down if you already know what kind of project you're in the mood for. Then we have Mary Maxim, another great option, especially if you're looking for something more classic or traditional. They have a lot of free patterns for things like blankets, wearables, and home decor. If you like vintage-inspired projects or patterns that feel a little nostalgic, I think that this is a really good website. Of course, Lion Brand, which is probably one of the most well-known yarn companies, and their free pattern library is so big. Also, if you haven't tried Lion Brand's 24/7 cotton or their woolies, I really think that you should. What I like about their patterns on their websites is like their photos are always really clear. The skill level ratings are on there for you. I know a lot of places are like that, but they really just make it easy for you to pick a pattern that you know you're going to be able to make. Then we have Yarnspirations, another popular place for beginners to look for patterns. Their patterns are very clearly laid out and they have a really wide range, everything from small accessories to larger projects like garments and blankets. If you're newer to crochet or just want something that feels a little low stress, this is a great site to bookmark. Of course, there's crochet.com, which I believe is also known as We Crochet or Knit Picks. Crochet.com, though, it has a really nice collection of free patterns that feel really modern and wearable. Like, I like this site for garments and accessories that don't feel too complicated but still have like a kind of polished look to them. It also is a good place to look if you're interested in trying slightly different fibers of yarn weights. Don't forget about Hobbii, Hobbii, or Hobby, I believe it's Hobbii. They have so many free patterns and their site is especially fun for browsing. They have patterns for crochet, knitting, amigurumi, and you can filter everything pretty easily. This is another site where you might go in looking for one idea and come out with a bunch of saved projects. They also will list the kind of yarn that is used in the project, so you might also end up purchasing yarn while you're in there looking for patterns. So it's not just the yarn companies that will have crochet patterns. There are blogs and like pattern databases for you to look at, and one of them is really big. It's actually Ravelry. It's pretty popular. Ravelry has free and paid patterns, so when you're looking for free patterns you'll have to use a filter option, but there are tons of them in there. Ravelry is really great if you want to see project photos from other makers, you want to read notes and modifications, or you want to just like compare different versions of the same pattern. It's a really powerful tool, and I suggest using Ravelry. Then there's All Free Crochet, which is an oldie but a goodie, and it's another site that's completely dedicated to free patterns. It's more of a blog style site, and they tend to feature roundups, seasonal projects, a beginner-friendly ideas. This can be a really good place to look if you want inspiration without having a specific project in mind yet. And I believe that they have a sister site, which is All Free Crochet Afghans. So you could check that one out as well. And last but not least, let's not forget about our local libraries. I don't think that I have heard a ton of people talk about this, but your local library has crochet books and magazines. You can utilize their free online digital printout. I don't want to say completely free because my library, it costs 10 cents to print a single sheet of paper. So the pattern itself may be free, but if you're printing something off, it might be a couple cents. I don't know. Check with your local library before you print anything. But that's all I have for you guys today. And if you know of any others, just leave them down below in the comments, and I'm going to link everything for you as well. Thank you so much.